Hey all, Hipper here. So today I will show you a video that should answer the question of why do you put so many resources into commanders, and specifically why do you put so many resources into commanders with Rudder, and even more specifically why do you put so many resources into commanders that only improve your Rudder by 2 or 3%. And I'll show you in this video here. Because this is what agile cruisers are pretty much all about. Well, not all about, but this is what they can pull off. And I keep saying this, like, if you kite in an agile cruiser, you're doing it wrong. Like, you are supposed to be evasion tanking. And here in a minute, I'll be spotted. And as you know, this is a 6 versus 6 battle. So I'm fully expecting to be targeted by all 6 ships, because I know I'm going to be the first one spotted here. So we're spotted here, and we'll just, scan the horizon here to see, okay, what are we dealing with? So we have a Montana, zooming in on him and then zooming back again. So obviously he's pretty much reloaded and ready to fire. So I'm just waiting for him to fire, and then at the same time I keep an eye on how many ships are actually targeting me. So this is all about timing, and it's all about knowing the shell path and where the shells are going to land. So the Montana fires here, but I'm not doing anything yet. I'm going to wait to see if anyone else is firing. I only have a few milliseconds to do this. You can see I'm turning already here. And as I suspected, the Alaska is firing as well. So I actually have enough time to turn left here a little bit to get out of the path of the shells. And then I also have enough time to turn the rudder all the other way so I can fit in between the Alaska shells. And at the same time, I'm just having a peek here, and I can see at the same time that the cap is being challenged, meaning that the destroyer is in here. And this is a 6 versus 6 battle. So if I can take out the destroyer here right at the beginning of the battle, that means we've won, if the rest of my team are worth their salt. So here, nothing I can do about that salvo there. I'm saving my damage con for exactly this situation, because I was pretty sure I was going to get a hit from over there on the right. But this is what repairs are for. I'm back at 2/3 health very, very quickly. Pull up, the radar, disclose that naughty Fletcher there in the cap, and just get into the cover that I wanted to get into the whole time. And I just make it just in time here, but that's all I need. I am now radaring the Fletcher, and I'm able to shoot at him, and I'm like, no one else can really hit me. So like a super aggressive start to the battle here, because I'm the only cruiser on the team, and there's only one destroyer on the enemy team. So by entering the cap like that, and then figuring out, okay, if I get spotted, that means the destroyer is here. So all I have to do is take the destroyer out of the game, and we should win this one here. So obviously that's what I'm doing, because in the beginning of the game you have a pretty good idea of where the destroyers are, and most destroyers don't expect a radar Minotaur to just rush into the cap. But of course I'm not rushing into the cap. I always wanted to get into this spot here, where I would be able to radar the cap and still be relatively safe, especially with only 6 ships on the maps. And I mean, worked out beautifully. The destroyer is gone, and I'll just cap, because no one else is brave enough to go into the middle of the map, so I can pretty much cap undisturbed in here. So once a battleship's, or any ship's, bullets or shells leave the barrels, then that player has shown their hand. There's like, okay, this is what I've got, now see what you can do with it. And if you have an agile setup like I do here, you are still able to work on not getting hit while the shells are in the air, and that's a major advantage. I mean, if this had been a smoke Minotaur and I got spotted like that, I would have to smoke up, and then I would just have to sit there, because I would be blocking my own visions. I wouldn't be able to spot anything. I wouldn't be able to radar anything, because the smoke takes up the radar spot, and the destroyer would probably fire torpedoes my way, so I would have to retreat, and he would be able to take the cap. And I don't know if the red team would win or not, but it would certainly be a disadvantage for us, because as you can see, our destroyer is not doing very well. So, like plays like these are the reason I play agile cruisers. That's pretty much it. Very fast, so you can get into the position you want to get into very, very quickly. Don't care about concealment. It doesn't matter. You get spotted. Once you're in the position, or on the way to your position, if you get shot at, well, just use your fast rudder to at least mitigate the damage. A good position is definitely worth taking a lot of damage for, like I did here. I got death struck pretty much from the right of the map, but it doesn't matter. I have heals, and like if you don't use your heals in Minotaur, then why do you have them then? I have 3 heals, and this is a long battle. It's like 15 minutes, so I used a heal in the first 3 minutes. That's perfectly fine. And as you saw, that heal was very well spent. I healed back about a third health, pretty much around that. And now I'm back to about half health, but we still have a massive advantage. So now I can start to play the Minnow in a more, probably a traditional way here, where you just farm battleships, because the red team is blind now, effectively blind. And as long as my team just, plays with a modicum of sense and, purpose and understands just a little bit of the game, we should be able to win this one easily, yeah. So this kind of play also has the added, extra bonus for the fact that it's actually a lot of fun to do. As long as you don't, get killed immediately. I mean, you need to know your limits, and in a 6 versus 6 battle, you can pull off stuff like I did there. If this was a 9 versus 9, I probably would have been a little bit more careful. I would have played differently, but in 6 versus 6, you have to be very, very unlucky to get death struck, or not death struck, but to get sunk immediately, especially in the Minotaur with heals. If you just keep an eye on what you're doing, and you're pretty used to the game, basically. So I own the middle of the map now. The destroyer does not own the middle of the map, and that is extremely important, because if he did, he would just be able to sit there and spot everyone and shoot torpedoes once in a while, and everybody would be afraid to push in, and most likely we would lose the battle because the destroyer had the B cap. So the Reds are actually pushing in here, which is like a little bit unusual in a Montana here. So I'm just gonna give him a few torpedoes, because like I said, I have the whole middle of the map here, and unless I get rushed in this position here, I'll be fine. I'll be absolutely perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna check if we actually get him here, because I was kind of hoping that Montana out there would have taken care of him by now. But we do get a nice hit there, but he's still alive. So I was hoping that someone else would have got him a little bit quicker than that, but my torpedoes took care of that, so not really a problem. So I sent the Montana packing here. He got scared. He got, farmed, not by fire, but by AP damage. And he's running for the hills. So that leaves the Alaska left. And pretty much all we have to do now is make sure the Alaska doesn't cap B. Like, we are well ahead on points. About ahead on 300 points here. But this Alaska here is still a problem, especially for me, because Alaskas are pretty much the last thing you want to run into when you're in a Minotaur. But if you look on the map, I have nothing to fear from the Montana. He is nearly 20 kilometers away, and he doesn't have the range to even think about touching me. So I'm starting to think, if I can catch this Alaska here broadside, I'll be able to chew through that little health he has left very, very quickly. And I still have a heal left, so should he get in a nasty broadside, that's fine. And at this point here, we're going to win this battle here anyway. So, then the thing that makes me make up my mind is the fact that Destroyer looks like he's going to head for A. So we'll follow him and back him up in case the Alaska, ambushes him or anything like that. A situation like that might mean that I sink, but it probably means that the Destroyer survives. And I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, my role is pretty much over in this game now here anyway. It was actually over in the first 2.5 minutes or something. Anything more than that is just a bonus, really. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll follow the guy in. We'll see what happens. But of course, I will try to stay alive. There's no point in dying for the sake of dying. And it's always nice to cap another cap, you know, and gives you a little bit of extra XP, so why not? So I'm keeping an island on each side of my ship here, so it doesn't really matter where this Alaska pops out. If he pops out, he could just be heading for the, you know, the side of the border as well. But then this naughty battleship here just interferes with my plans, and I have to, you know, make a bit of a turn here to get around him without hitting him. And I do make it, but it just distracts me a little bit here. So I haven't really been. I was going to, you know, pop up my radar a little bit earlier, but I still managed to again use my fast rudder here to get into a position where the Alaska can't hurt me. Had he hit my broadside with that salvo, I would have been dead. But I still had like 2-3 seconds to use my very fast rudder to just turn the ship and get into a position where I can hopefully bounce most of his shells. And that's what I did, and it worked out beautifully. So that is the reason why I keep adding to my rudder commanders. I never stop. Well, I do stop when I reach around 2 seconds, perhaps 1.9 seconds, depending on the ship. After that, there's not much else to come for. It doesn't really feel that the rudder actually gets faster. I mean, you can get Wichita down to probably 1.4 seconds or something, but it doesn't feel any faster than 1.9. So 1.9 seems to be the sweet spot for agile cruisers, and Minotaur is 2.3, so there's still room to improve this ship here, definitely. You can actually improve it by almost half a second, which obviously means that you'll be able to dodge shells way closer than I did in the beginning of this game here. Probably down to around 10 kilometers, something like that. Meaning that you can get close to the caps, you can get into a good position, you can spot at the same time, and if you run into a destroyer, you can take them out. And that's what cruisers do, really. And I'm sure there are other ways of doing it. You can do this by a concealment build, or, well, you can just stay far away and have range instead, but your accuracy is going to suffer, and it's going to be easier for the destroyer to get away. When you get within 8 kilometers or something like I did here, and you pop that radar, facing a Minotaur, you have to be very lucky to get away. So that's how I like to play this game here. You know, get in there right in the beginning, give your team an advantage, and then hopefully everything will turn out right after that. So that was Super Agile Minotaur here, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.